Okay, here we are. Another episode of Iron Sharpens Iron. I'm super stoked for this one because my man Hubble has come a long way. Has come a long way since that initial chat we had almost a year ago. So when is it going to be a year? In 15 days? You've been
April 16th.
April 16th, man. So Hubble, talk about I guess do a little introduction of yourself, man. Who's Hubble?
I guess I live outside Omaha. I'm 40 years old. Have a wife, a 19-year-old stepson, small dental practice. We opened a practice 12 years ago and we got busy, and I never really gave fitness the priority it needed. I think 7 years ago, my wife was digging through some photos. We did ferals. She's like, "Oh, we're doing ferals." So we signed up for ferals, and when I walked in that day, I said, "Now, what day do I collect my check on for like the $500 or $1,000 or whatever?"
Yeah.
She kind of laughed at me, and honestly, I collected that check. So
Yeah.
but I mean, it was her money, not mine. So all I had to do was put in the effort to get there. And then we did that for 9-12 months, and it got boring. It was the same thing every day, kicking a bag and doing band work.
Yeah.
So we fell off. We quit. We didn't do anything else. And then things got really bad. Like I ballooned up to 238 pounds was the heaviest that I was. And that was a year ago before I joined. But things were good with the family, but there was a ton of tension because I was stressed. I wasn't eating healthy. Yeah. They were worried about me. My wife kept saying, "You got to do something. You got to do something." And then finally, it just hit me one night. We went out. It was after work. We still had to run errands. We stopped to grab some food and
tacos, right?
Tacos, 5 for $5.
Yeah,
I was like, the guy's like,
me
"What do you want?" I'm like, "I don't know, what do you like?" He's like, "Fried." I'm like, "Perfect, 5 fried tacos. Like, that sounds awesome." And when I walked back to the table, they were whispering, and I'm like, "All right, what's going on?" And they said, my wife's like, "Harry's actually worried about your health. Like you are out of control. You need to do something about it." So I said, "I'm calling Travis." And I don't think, she snickered. She just laughed under her breath. She knew that I'd said this so many times, but like I told you when I started, I don't know when you started sending out emails I think it was a Progressive or
you're following. Yeah, I've been newsletters for I opened the gym coming up on 10 years ago. I was sending emails. This is the day I opened my gym. Like I started like a newsletter, and I would send out emails every week. Yeah. So I remember you said you had been following me for like 5 years or something?
I look back, I think it was 2011 was the first one and I still have every one of them. I just put them in a folder and kept them, and I'd read them. And I told her when I got the first one, I'm like, this place looks cool. Like, this looks like something that I want to do. And she's like, "Look at those guys. They're huge. They're strong." She goes, "You're going to die." And I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'm not going to do it." And then I got another one about a year later. I said, "Look at this. I think this is what I want to do." And she's like, "Well, that's so far away. We're not going to make it work with your schedule. How are you going to get up there, get back here, see patients without disrupting the office?" So I didn't do anything. And then it hit me like a brick wall. Like, I got to do something. Like, my family's worried about me, dying. So I need to do something.
Serious stuff, man. So we had that conversation, and boom. I mean, you seriously jumped in. I remember having that talk with you, and I was like, "Dude, are you serious about this? Because it seems like you're not too serious with everything that's happened in the past up to this point. Like, if I bring you on, I got to know that you're going to follow through." And so, yeah, man, you jumped head first into it, and here we are now, almost a year down the road.
I mean, I still remember day one. Like, I just got through the warm up, and I was like, "Whew, good workout." And then Tony's like, "Let's start." Like, I
Yeah.
I got through one set and he looked at me and he said, "Have you been working out?" I said, "That's why I'm here. I haven't been working out." He's like, "You look terrible. Go home." So I went home. I was like, screw that. I feel terrible. I'm out. But
That's so interesting. You know what I need to do is go to each guy in the gym, and I should put a compilation video together, and like it's just the first. What was your first workout like in Forged? And every single guy, it's going to be the same as like I didn't even make it through, baseline. I didn't even make it through the warm up. Like Rich, I don't know if you've heard his story. He didn't even make it through the warm up. Like he got to the end of the warm up, and then he walked out the back door. And I turned to Tony. I was like, where'd that new guy Rich go? Like, where'd he go? He just disappeared. He walked outside. And so we figured maybe he walked outside to throw up or whatever. But no, he was legit gone. And I sent him a text. I was like, hey, man, where'd you go? Like, we were all worried about you. Thinking he was going to be like, I quit. He's like, I'll see you Wednesday. That's all he said. He's like, I was done. I'll see you Wednesday. And I mean, yeah, he came back and obviously blazed the rest of his trail forward. But yeah, man, I mean, so here we are, 15 days away from your 1-year anniversary. Talk about some of the changes that we've made, man. Like, what are the biggest? I guess what's the biggest win for you up to this point?
Besides the physical transformation, like I'm a better person all the way around. I'm better to my wife. I'm better with my kid. I'm better at the office. I'm just a happier person. Like, I didn't think that something like this could ever change like my mental outlook, but I'm like, life has literally changed for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, I mean, physical transformations, what are some of the wins there?
I mean, I'm definitely lighter. I'm stronger. I can do pull-ups, toes to bar. I mean, I can finally do an RX workout.
Yeah,
So
pretty cool.
I mean, I remember the first RX workout I could do, and I was so excited that day. It felt good to actually be able to keep up and compete with some of the other guys in the gym.
Yeah, it is. And I want to talk about that post that you put up in the Brotherhood, kind of talking about that, like you versus you at the end of the day, right?
At
So
the end of the day, it
talk about
is.
that. And that was like a big kind of breakthrough / revelation for you, huh?
That was huge because, like, my whole life, it's always been like there's always been some level of competition, like, and it's always against somebody else. It's never been with myself. It's, even on sports teams, it's never been about just me. It's always been a team concept. Or with school, like it's always been me against somebody else. Who's going to get the best grade in the class? Who's going to graduate first in the dental school class? Which one of my classmates is going to be the most successful? And I didn't realize why you put those up. I was like, damn, Travis is just busting our balls. One more workout we're squeezing in here. Like, I'm already exhausted. Like, when am I going to have time to do this? I got all these other plans on Saturday. Like, plan on coming and doing this other workout. Like, I don't want to come back and do one Sunday again. But, like I said, I'm not 3 minutes and 20 seconds fitter. I'm 3 minutes and 20 seconds, grittier, mentally stronger.
Yeah.
And it is you versus you.
Yeah.
And I brought that to the gym this morning. Like, it wasn't me against Colin or me against Shane. Like, it was me against me. And when I wanted to take a breather, I said, screw it, pick up the kettlebell and keep going.
Yep. Yeah, you like check yourself in the different types of workouts like that. It's really interesting how it correlates to other parts of your life. Like you go to that zone, and I mean, you meet yourself in a very uncomfortable, setting, and you push those boundaries. And it's like, you can talk about it, but you can't ever, it's hard to talk about it because you have to like actually experience it. And then when you are experienced, you got to push that limit. And some guys just don't do that, right? Like some guys are afraid of that. They get to that point, oh, I better back off a little bit. But it's like
almost uncomfortable.
that, yeah, it's like that point when you just push it a little bit harder and go into that like red zone, basically, is when you get better, is when you mentally, and I love how you put it, grittier, right? Like you build that grit and you go through a hellacious workout, and then things in life just aren't that hard anymore. You know, some
Exactly
like
right.
challenges and things that come up that might have just threw you way off track before. You're just like, I got it. I got it. I can handle this. Like I just did this crazy workout. I can handle this. No problem. You know,
Yeah.
it's cool how that builds us up, you know, outside the gym. And I mean, it's just something that we all know ourselves. Like, you know it, right? Like, you know it. I'll never know it, right? I'll know it for myself, but it's just an interesting bit, man, that you pull away with. And so when you first started, was that mindset present with you?
Oh, no, not
Yeah.
at all. Like different aspects of my life. Yeah. Like, you know, I want to be the best in my profession that I could be, but I didn't have, that edge like I feel like I have
Yeah.
now. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's different. So.
Love it. Love it, man. So you mentioned we're almost to the 50-pound mark, and you're like, I'm not going to hit my initial goal of 50 pounds that you had when we originally started. In order to do that, we'd obviously have to cut some corners and, you know, do some short-term water manipulation type stuff. But the thing is, and I remember when you sent me your first, it was like your initial like 6-week photos.
Yeah.
A complete difference, like
Oh
when you
yeah.
started until now. And so the big thing is, and we actually talked about this last month, like in regards to like performance tracking and results, and a lot of guys get caught up on that number on the scale. So they'll see that number. And for you, if we're in that same mindset, like say we get to the year mark and you're like, shoot, I didn't lose 50 pounds. That was a failure, right? A lot of guys would look at it like that. They would look at the scale. I didn't hit 50 pounds. This was a waste, right?
Yeah.
Whereas you think about all the other changes that you've gone through, like the mental changes, like, shoot, if you remember, it's like that identity shift that you have. Like when you first started, like you're a completely different dude in regards to your habits, your routines, your behaviors now than you were then. And that's basically what's made your life better. You know what I
Oh yeah.
mean? And so you go through those changes and then your physical changes. So, I mean, you've built muscle, you've lost body fat, you've gained muscle. Yeah. I mean, so your body composition is completely different. But what other sorts of big breakthroughs have you had, man?
Um, Routines, like just sticking with it. I was always very, routine oriented, but now it's, I'm definitely planning ahead. Like I've never planned this much in the past. And, you know, there were times that I'd get to the office and I'd be like, oh man, I'm not ready for this. So then I
Mm-hmm.
got to scramble, figure out how I can be ready for it,
Mm-hmm.
get it prepared. Now, every Sunday I'm sitting there getting everything lined up. We
Mm-hmm.
got all of our food made by Sunday afternoon that we're going to have for lunches for the week. I don't even think twice. Like, I hate to say it, but I don't want to say trained or wrecked, but my wife was never a morning person,
Mm-hmm.
but now that my alarm's going off early, like she gets up with a smile on her face some days. So it's like this morning when I got back from the gym, it was 6:30, and she was, she rolled out of bed smiling. Like before, it would have been rough.
Yeah.
And I've trained her to like become a morning person. And
Yeah.
my stepson, like he was never a morning person, and now, he's getting into a routine, and it's just, you can just get so much more accomplished if you just
Yeah.
roll your butt out of bed.
Yeah. That's crazy. In fact, I was just talking about this earlier today. I might have a little, once we get done with the fuel challenge inside of the Brotherhood, I'm thinking of doing a Navy SEAL alarm clock challenge. So I saw something that a couple Navy SEALs were doing amongst themselves. Like one guy would text the other as soon as he was up, and they'd wake up at like 4:30. It's not going to be 4:30. But either way, so say I send you a text message at 4:30 and say, hey, dude, you up? You have 10 minutes from the time I send that text message to answer, and you got to text back. Obviously, you'd have to be awake to text me back. And
Sure.
so the challenge would be is I would set a specific time, and I'd post up in the group and say, I'm up. And everybody in the challenge, they'd have to post that they're up, within 10 minutes. If they don't, boom, they're out. It's like one shot, gone, right? So I think that'd be interesting for some of the guys, like for anybody, people that are going to be watching this episode here. Like if you want to get yourself into a routine, like create some sort of challenge or leverage, so you have that leverage to actually make that change, right? Because shoot, man, if you weren't signed up to come across town to the gym, I guarantee you wouldn't be getting up that early.
Yeah. I mean, right now it's 4:30, and
how long is the drive? That early in the morning is probably how long?
15, 20 minutes.
15, 20? Yeah, that's about what my drive is in the morning. So, but yeah, man.
Worth it, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that's a big takeaway right there is like, if you're somebody that is so busy that you can't fit anything in, chances are like you are wasting a lot of time somewhere by not being prepared, by not just thinking ahead. And when you prepare and plan ahead, I mean, it makes things way easier, man. Way easier, way more organized. You become more efficient. And it's hard at first. It's hard at first to make those changes, but then when you do, then you fall into a new routine. And so that routine becomes your habits and your default behaviors. So it's interesting how that all changes over time, man. It definitely wasn't overnight.
No.
It was a while. So, well, cool, man. What else, if anything, like big revelation for you? Any other thing that you want to leave off here with, Hubble?
No, I mean, I just hope anybody out there that's on the fence, man, just do it. Just jump in and go after it. Like, we only get one shot at life. Like, grab it by the horns and just go.
Love it, man. Love it. You'll never know what you're truly capable of unless you actually take that step forward, man. It's crazy. And I'm sure that wasn't, like you mentioned, when you made that phone call, like you had thought about that for a long time, a lot of time wasted. That's one thing that you keep saying is that, man, I wish I would have started, months ago, and so, but here we are now, man. I'm excited for what's ahead, and, all the gains and progress that's to come, man. So stay committed and keep hitting it hard. Big respect, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.